Now, throughout the course of the weekend, both Friday night and Saturday night, yielded a total of 2 arrests and 18 citations. We were able to seize five vehicles, and we recovered 1 stolen vehicle. Cortavian Winston, 21 years of age, was arrested and charged with participating in a street takeover, fleeing to elude and resist, delay, and obstruct a police officer. Kewan Thompson, 23 years of age, was charged with participating in a street takeover, fleeing to elude and resist, delay, obstructing an officer, and hit and run. Both subjects appear to be outside of the Charlotte region. So let me repeat that. Both subjects do not live in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. They had come from the outside, again, to try to make this city their playground. What we want the public to know is, number one, if you observe these incidents taking place, call 911. Let us know. Be that extra set of eyes and ears out there to help us direct our officers to when these events are taking place. And for those involved, for those participating in these street takeovers, we want you to know that we will take enforcement action. The legislature has been very deliberate and very intentional in showing that this will not be tolerated. And it's the intentions of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department to share that sentiment and tell you we will take enforcement action. You will not do this in our city. And if caught, we will seize your vehicle. Those vehicles, once seized, have to be bonded out at twice the value of those vehicles. And then the defendant must bring that vehicle back and turn it in 24 hours prior to every court appearance they have. So to mom and dad out there who may be letting their adult child drive their vehicle, you need to be very aware of what they're doing with your vehicles. It is not uncommon for us to charge someone, seize a vehicle that belongs to mom and dad. Mom and dad are making payments on a vehicle that has now been seized. And oftentimes, these vehicles have a very high dollar amount. So with that, I'll take any questions that we have from our media partners. Yes, sir.
Hi, Jeff Chandler, the Charlotte Observer. So when you said there were over 100 that came into the jurisdiction over the weekend, were they all part of the same group, or were these just like, you heard about these spots people might be at, and you went there? How were they affiliated with each other?
Sure. So there were approximately 100 Friday night, and then Saturday night, about 400 vehicles. And typically what we see is these groups appear to be one big solid group, coordinated group that are coming here with these intentions.
You talk about the penalties are one thing, but what is the department doing to actively prevent these from popping up? Because the list of locations, it sounds like your officers were following them all over town. Some of the neighbors say it took 20, 30 minutes for officers to get to the one near their house. So, but you alluded that you guys, it sounded like you guys knew they were coming.
Sure, yeah. So we, through that investigative work, had a pretty good idea that they're coming to the Charlotte area. It's always a guessing game where specifically. I think everyone in this room, we could probably come up with 5 or 6 locations in our heads, right? I see Hunter shaking his head, of where we know they're probably going to be. So we rely on a variety of things. Folks in the public calling 911 when they see these large groups forming up. We obviously have a helicopter we utilize. We've got other physical surveillance operations out there, as well as good old-fashioned police work. We've got patrol officers that are cast out there, being our eyes and ears for that as well. So Hunter, you bring up a great point. The first thing is finding that group initially, taking that enforcement action, and from there it often does turn into us moving them from one location to another until they finally leave our jurisdiction. But then we're in coordination with our neighboring partners, those other law enforcement agencies in the county or on the outskirts of the county, to where they know that that group's coming their way as well.
I know that you see the videos that these have been dangerous in the past just with the sheer cars going in circles.
Sure.
But this one had bullets flying in one of the scenarios that hit somebody. Can you shed any more light on that victim, how they're doing, what they were innocently doing in that area?
Right. That is an open investigation, but what I can tell you is that victim is recovering. That victim is cooperating with the investigation. And as always, we are asking the community, we are asking the public that if you were at that location or you have any other knowledge about this street takeover or what may have led to that shooting or the actual perpetrator, Crime Stoppers, 704-334-1600 or charlottecrimestoppers.com.
And is that a new element? Or are you saying like using guns just kind of to celebrate and shooting up in the air kind of thing? Is that a new element from what you've seen in past?
It's not one that I'm specifically aware of where they've done that in the past. Now, is this an escalation of behavior? You know, that's up for debate, you know. But what I can tell you is anytime that we have somebody firing a weapon indiscriminately in this jurisdiction or otherwise, it's scary. That's a scary event. And again, it will not be tolerated. We're going to hold those people accountable. We're going to conduct these investigations and put the necessary resources towards that to bring that person to justice.
With so many subjects that were involved in this, why were there so few arrests and citations? And subsequently, the two that were arrested, what are they alleged to have done that would get them in handcuffs that no one else did?
Right. So with the number of vehicles involved, we move in, we start taking that enforcement action, and inevitably a big piece of this is the rest of the group is moving while we're taking that enforcement action on the people that we can basically get our hands on. And so it is a challenge to make a huge, wide-ranging arrest of a large group of people. And also, what we also have to keep in mind and address with this is when we are out there observing these takeovers, we have to be very intentional to address not the takeover itself in general, but specific criminal behavior. That's what we can arrest for. And so those two subjects who were arrested, what distinguished them from the others is that active participation in the takeover with their vehicle.
Have you guys seen an increase or decrease this year? I know you guys also tried to do an operation last year to try to decrease this type of activity.
They've remained pretty consistent with that, but what I can tell you is each time we have an event, we learn from it. And we take additional measures, additional resources, and tactics that we learned from the previous experience.
And are you guys working with like state police or sheriff's departments to work on this?
Absolutely. So we live and die by our relationships. What makes us a strong police department, what makes us a stronger police department are those relationships with other local jurisdictions, state police, as well as our federal partners as well.
Where are they from? You said they're mostly from outside of Charlotte. Where are they coming from? Are they from the same general area? Are they coordinating online to meet in Charlotte as like a center point? Like what, and you know, why did they pick Charlotte, I guess?
Sure. It's a great question. They're coming from all over. We have evidence that we have people come down here from New Jersey to commit these type actions. Charlotte's a great city. It's an up-and-coming city. There's something that attracted all of us in this room to Charlotte. And unfortunately, that also brings in the criminal element as well. What we have to be firm about is set that expectation that anybody is welcome to Charlotte. But you're not going to come here and criminally make this your playground.
There are videos from one of the instances over the weekend up in the University City area in which a tow truck with a driver inside is, I mean, people are just climbing all over it.
Sure.
Do you know of any innocent motorist who may have had that happen, or is that happening? Are these people also attacking vehicles that are in that intersection?
Sure. I think all of us have seen videos similar to that one, not specific to the other night, but just generally speaking. It does happen, and it is unacceptable. Again, that's why we reach out to the public. Be those eyes and ears out there for us. We need to be made aware of these events as soon as possible so that we can dedicate those officers, deploy those resources to those locations that are often identified to us by the public so that we can address just that behavior.
In real time, if somebody finds themselves in that type of situation and can't, I guess, get around their vehicles or get out, what should they do?
Right. So the first thing is use common sense. Don't try to take on a mob of people. Call 911 first and foremost. Get us there so that we can address the behavior.
Anything else, guys? Thanks, Captain.
Excellent. Thank you all. Again, if you have additional questions or need that data, reach out to our public affairs office and they will be sure to send that your way.
Oh, actually, sorry, real quick. So 2 arrests, 5 citations, and how many vehicles?
5 vehicles seized over the course of the weekend. Yes.
Thank you.
Your captain now.
Yes.
And Stephen is EN?
PHEN.